what's going on YouTube? It's J-Slizzle back again with another video, and today we have our draft analysis of the Sky Pillar Stadium Season 8. SPS is a huge league that I've been a part of since day one, actually going back to before the SPS server even started. Super excited. It's been inactive for about a year. The owner, Ballhawk, had to step down, and there's just been some trouble initiating and some IRL stuff, preventing another season, and now we're back. I got put in Zapdos division, which is the lowest skill division for singles, unfortunately, but I'm gonna cook. And you might be wondering what happened to the 7 Deadly Citrus. Well, go check out my last video to figure out. We rebranded into the Troplin K's, and it's going to be some banger content. I really believe I stepped my game up when it comes to slideshow making, as well as just having better visuals in general, all across everything I do on YouTube, really. Hopefully the thumbnails follow. But yeah, some important information. This is a snake draft, 12 coaches per division, 115 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon. There's a Terra tax, but the Terra tax is only around 2 to 4 points. Depending on the mon, it could be more, could be less. I know stuff like, I don't even know, Superior, I think, is like 10 points without Terra, 9, and it's like 16, 15 with Terra. So that's an example. An outlier. Then the higher tier mons are Terra Band stuff like Zamazenta, Spectrier, Polt, Valiant, all of the usual suspects. It is Omni Terra Preview in DLC 2, obviously, since it's about the index. No Megas or Z moves. I get 5 free agent transactions with a 24-hour grace, and I had pick number 10 out of 12. So, all throughout the draft process, well, before the draft process, I'm thinking, man, I would love to try out Polt or Valiant. I've used Polt once in like my 3 or 4 years of draft. It was when I was really bad. Never tried out Valiant. I would love a top pick, because I've only had 1 or 2 top picks in Gen 9, one of them being last SPS season where I took Roaring Moon first overall, and I got pick 10. I didn't know what to do, so I ended up going with Meowscarada. Now, the thing is, like, Meowscarada obviously got super buffed in DLC 2 with Triple Axle. I just couldn't sell myself on this being a first round pick. However, my good buddy Wish and I talked, and we agreed that, it's basically a wheel pick for me, right? Because there's 2 more people that pick, and then those 2 people pick again, then I'm basically third in round 2. There's 4 picks in between me and my next pick, so we decided that this would be better. The other option that was on the board that I really wanted was Darkrai, but I got convinced that Meowscarada was just better, and I agreed when looking at what other mods I liked. It's really fast and hits moderately hard. It's got spikes, U-turn, 2 great stab options, and Flower Trick. Flower Trick always hits critically. It also gets Sucker and Triple Axle, so nothing really loves to switch into this. It gets Toxic Spikes as well, Hone Claws, good special moves with like Power Gem, with a usable special attack stat. This thing is going to be good. I have it in a league right now, and I love it. It's just not put up the numbers I wanted, and that's where it gets a little dicey for me. Grass and Dark, and I drafted this because of the mon I want to draft next. I figured it paired extremely well with it, and that Pokemon is Annihilate. Annihilate is a mon I've been wanting to use since I started YouTube in PBA Season 8. I mocked 4 Phonytail, and the person I was mocking against had Annihilate, and I did this like for 2 or 3 weeks because playoffs as well. And this thing was so fun to prep with. It's extremely versatile and can do basically whatever you want to do. Right? It can be a tank it could be a setup fiend with bulk up, Rage Fist. Could be momentum. It's got U-turn. It's got rocks. It's got encore. I want to say it gets Stomp. I'm not sure about that. And it gets some good coverage. I wish the only recovery it got was not Rest, but Rest is also good on. It's got some good abilities, mainly Defiant, so being able to set up spikes with Meow and then switch in on a potential defog, get +2. Sounds great. Blocks Rapid Spin. Ghost and Fighting are good types in draft. Annihilate is one of the best ghost types in the game and one of the best fighting types. I guess I didn't mention it. I told you I had 115 points. Meow was obviously 17, Annihilate 16, so I'm going a little bit top heavy, but considering that the top of the scale was 20 points, I'm not really going that top heavy. Yeah, this thing is a lot bulkier than given credit for. It's also sneakily fast, like not to the point where it's going to outspeed everything, especially offensive mons, but it can easily, with little investment, outspeed a lot of walls and be able to do a lot back. Rage Fist is one of the best moves in the game. Really excited to use this Pokemon. I think it's going to become extremely versatile for me, and that's the hope. Next, to go with this core that I have with Meow and Annihilate, I want to go with a mod that, despite maybe being in reach, fit what I was trying to build, and that is Primarina. I knew I wanted a bulky water, I knew I wanted a fairy type, and I hate most of the fairy types in Paldea, especially the ones that made sense last team, stuff like Sylveon, Screamtail. I actually like Screamtail, hate facing it. Florges, I don't like hate them, but they just do not compare to Primarina. This thing is phenomenal, and I would say it's pretty underpriced for being 11 points. Now, the HP is okay, the physical defense is met. The special defense, on the other hand, is where we're cooking, as well as the special attack. It hits hard. Most importantly to me, it gets Scald, it gets Flip Turn. It gets Moonblast, one of the best moves in the game. It gets Calm Mind, Draining Kiss. I'm able to be versatile with this, and that's the whole thing I want to do with this team. I want this team to be extremely versatile and make it so my opponent doesn't know which sets I'm going to bring, because in MPBA I felt like, despite my team looking versatile on paper, it was the same 6 sets every week, and that's something that I did not find joy in. So I'm trying to make a team where I can just, interchange the sets I'm bringing. Primarina is one of those mons, less so than Meow and Annihilate, but I can do whatever I want with it. Base 60 speed is whatever, but it's got great typing and pretty good base stat total. And then next is arguably my favorite Gen 9 Mon, something that I've been wanting literally as soon as it came out, and that I was aiming for as soon as I saw that SPS was having reveals, or having another season, and that is Iron Crown, my Terra Captain. This thing I saw was 9 points, 12 with Terra, and I knew I had to have it. I just can't explain how amazing this Pokemon is. It is, to me, the definition of versatility. Like, you could say, yeah, you got Mew, yeah, you got Necrozma. Put Iron Crown in that conversation. The Mon is him. We could I could make a whole video about Iron Crown sets that are all viable. Right? This thing has just great stats all around the board. You got 90 HP, 100 physical defense, 108 Spadef, 97 speed, which... is that supposed to be 98? That may supposed to be 98. I just know it outspeeds Urshifu by 1 point, which is important in VGC. Can be in singles too, and hits hard with 122 with good stats. It's got signature move Tachyon Cutter, which is essentially a never-missing 100 base power steel move. Hits twice so it can break sashes, and it finishes a dark fighting psychic core, as well as enhances our fairy steel dragon core. Gets 2/3 of the way done with that, and I think that I'll love it I know that I'll love using it throughout the season. I get to be super creative, which I know you're hearing the same things over and over, but I can't emphasize it enough about this team. Is I get to be creative. Creative juices are going to be flowing, and it's going to be unique. And I quite frankly think that, as a viewer, this is going to be my best season of draft just because of that. It's not the same sets every week. So I wait, what is that, 20 picks? Around there, 18 or 20 picks for my next mod. I didn't think I was going to get it. I have it in another draft league, and in 7 games, it is 21-2. It's putting up Wilt numbers, and it's Raging Bolt, Malding Throat, as I call it. It's 14 points, it's 12 points, I believe. 16 with Terra, And I'm like, yeah, it's a little high, but it's 1,000% worth it. I think I'd rather have this than Meowscarada or Annihilate. So it's like, it's worth 125 HP, 91 defense, 137 special attack stat. Means it hits hard even if it's uninvested. 89 SPDF and mediocre speed, but 75 is enough to where you can run Scarf once or twice and it still be good. Like, it still can outspeed a lot of things at base 75, which is notable, right? I don't know if I'm ever going to bring it this season, but it may be worth paying attention to. Yeah, this thing is just a monster. It, similarly to Iron Crown, this is another mon that I can be extremely, extremely creative with. It kind of gets a rep for being a coal mine merchant, but I think that's just the nature of ladder, because people think that Iron Crown is still just a setup guy, and it's not. Raging Bolt is going to carry this team. Coal Mine, I already said. Thunderclap, which is special Sucker Punch, and Electric type. It doesn't have the best coverage, but it's got great stab moves. It's got Volt Switch, Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, maybe Dragon Tail. Like, you don't need to run coverage on this mon. It hits like a nuke, quite frankly. And then next up, on this wheel, I didn't know what I wanted, and then I saw what was on the board, right? Ursaluna Blood Moon. Come on, this mon has got to be one of the most fun mons in draft if you love clicking buttons like I do. This thing has no switch-ins. Well, technically, it has 3 switch-ins? 2 switch-ins? Yeah, 2 because we're in Paldea. You got Skarmory, you got Corviknight. And guess what bends those 2 over? Raging Bolt. Yeah, I think Ursaluna Blood Moon, typing-wise, fits into my team great. I needed a ground type, needed a normal type. Would have loved some more bulk. Allows Annihilate to eat fighting type moves and deals with. There's one type I thought it dealt with. I forget what it was for the rest of my team, but I just know that it's going to be nice. Maybe a steel type. It deals with steel types extremely well, which my team kind of needed. And yeah, basically what this thing does is it clicks its signature move, Blood Moon, which is, don't quote me on this, I want to say it's 120 or 130. It may even be like 150. Base power, normal type move, special by the way, that it's basically Gigaton Hammer, which means you can't use it next turn, but it also gets Hyper Voice and Earth Power and Called Mind and Moonlight and good coverage. Like, I don't know what to call it other than just nuclear. Like, this thing is amazing. Great Assault Vest user because of its low SPDF. It gets Vacuum Wave, by the way, which I just wanted to say because it can invalidate the speed stat. Tank physically hits hard. It's like Ursaluna, but better, right? Low speed pairs great with Trick Room, as would Primarina, and Raging Bolt wouldn't mind it. This is 15 points, so I am budgeting a little bit, but at the same time, I'm starting to quickly run out of points. And I don't care. I don't think. Like, I still had enough budget, and I realized with Annihilate, I wanted some more hazards. I want a remover, most importantly, as well as a grounded poison would be nice, and Stealth Rocks would also be nice because only Annihilate has it. And then I look, and there's a certain mon that fits all of those criteria that somehow lasted all the way to round 7. It's Glamora. So yeah, 13 points. It is a little bit pricey, especially because I'd rather have Primarina and Iron Crown over it, hence why I picked those 2 on the 3-4 wheel. But it does everything I need it to on this team, as well as it's more versatile than you think, right? It could be Toxic Spiky Shield, it can be Meteor Beam Rock Polish. At base 130 special attack, it can be a great Scarfer or Specs user if you so need it to. Got 2 amazing abilities, and yeah, this thing's got a great moveset. It gets Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Meteor Beam, Power Gem, Toxic Spikes, Rock or Stealth Rock, as well as Spiky Shield, Toxic, one of the few Toxic users in Paldea. This mon is super good. Defenses they're fine. They're not where you absolutely love them to be, But it's also got a nice speed stat, outspeeding base 85s, which are fairly common. You got stuff like Quavel. It's the only one off the top of my head. It is slower than Bax and Tusk, if I'm not mistaken. I can't confirm. I know that I want to say they're 87, but this thing just felt like a perfect system fit into my team. And then I started to realize that I wanted more removal. I wanted more momentum because I feel like this team benefits greatly. The more momentum you get, obviously my first 5 have it, but Ursaluna and Glamora don't. And then I realized that I kind of wanted a physical threat. My last 5 mons have been special attackers, and while I didn't get a threat, I got something that fits perfectly with Glamora. Well, not perfectly, but fits very well with Glamora, in my opinion, and that is Talonflame at 10 points. Yeah, stats aren't there. Let me tell you, stats are definitely not where you want them to be. But this mon has U-Turn, Defog, Roost, Flame Body, 2 Hard-hitting stabs in Flare Blitz and Brave Bird. It has Sword Stance. Even gets like Steel stuff. This thing is just valuable, right? The stats don't speak for how valuable this is. I was contemplating Moltres, actually, and then Moltres doesn't get Defog in Paldea decks, and Talonflame does, as well as Talonflame is cheaper, so that's why I made my ultimate decision. The only thing good that this thing has going for it is speed. Other than that, it's all a bunch of mid. I guess it could be a mixed attacker, technically. It's got like overheat and stuff, but most of the time he's going to be wearing those Tims, those heavy-duty boots, and just coming for momentum and defensive purposes. But that's all it needs to do. It gets a couple burns, and then all of a sudden something like Meowscarada wins, something like Annihilate wins, right? Raging Bolt wins. This thing and Glamora, our system fits because it allows my win cons to actually be able to win, whether it be by hazards or status or whatnot. The goal is to make life easier for my top 6 mons. And then I realized that I've budgeted my fair share, right? I've gotten 8 quality mons, all above 10 points, and then I look and I have 5 points left. And here's where it starts to get dicey, right? There was one 1-pointer, there were a few 1-pointers I was looking at, like, I want those. Then, in the 3-pointer category, I saw a mon that I've never tried, and I'm not a huge fan of, but it fits exactly what I was looking for, so I'm down to try it, and that mon is Cryogonal. Hear me out. It's an Ice type, which I don't have. It's immune to Ground, which I guess I have one of, but I need a better Ground answer because Meowscarada does not like to take Earthquakes. And it Rapid Spins. It can hit bulky waters with Freeze Dry. That's basically my thought process, and for 3 points, I take those. I don't think I was going to be using my points any better. Physically, it's awful. 50 is piss poor. 80 HP is fine. But it's got Spadef. That's what it's going to do. It's going to take Spadef hits and fire back and do like 30%. That's fine. If I bring this ever, it's basically going to be to remove hazards, and that's it. But, with 3 picks left, if I could use something that niche, I'll take it, right? It's actually got a better base stat total than Talonflame, and I just need the speed tier as well. 105 fits great because it gives me something to outspeed base 100s, which I did not have other than like Meowscarada and Talonflame, but this gives me something to where I can force stuff into Timid, like base 110s or higher. And yeah, this thing is just going to be there, but I don't mind it. Next is the most powerful 1-pointer I've ever seen, is Hisuian Sneasel, and the stats, look, I say powerful, the stats aren't there. Stats aren't there, but it's fast, it's got an okay attack stat, has access to Sword Stance and U-Turn, it's got 2 great stabs, Bone Shot in close combat with like okay coverage. It can hold EV Light if it has to. Doesn't want to with those stats, but it can. It has Toxic Spikes, and it gives me a speed tier in between Cryo and like Meowscarada and Talonflame. I really needed the attacking prowess, which this thing is probably the top of the chart when you get to 1-pointers, and I need the speed tier, and no other Pokemon fit both those criteria, and I don't think this thing should be 1 point. I mean, the stats suck dick, but other than that, it's pretty good. Again, this is going to be one of those months like Cryo. It's probably not going to come all that often, but when it does, it can be a threat, and it's going to fulfill a niche, whether I want to set up toxic spikes, whether I want to lead and click SD. It's going to have its match. It's going to come once or more. Like, it's not sitting on the bench the whole season, but it's not going to come every game. And then finally is I had 1 point left for one Mon, and there were some great options on the board. You had Charger Bug for Webs and for Thunder Wave, stuff that my team did not have. You had Morgrim, Ultimate Positioner. I love that Mon. You saw it in PEL. There was also Giraffe Ray. Giraffe Ray offered me Wish Passing, which I did not have, and Trick Room, which I did not have, which is nice for Earth Moon, Blood Moon, for Primarina, and for Raging Bolt. But, hear me out. I did something funny. And this is a Pokemon I knew I was getting before the draft, just like Iron Crab. Oh yeah, it's Tropin time. George Tropez is here. You got Tropius, the mascot pick. At one point, for a good reason. The stats, not good. I love this Pokemon Death. It's my favorite ever. Not good. He's not good. He's trash. But the heart's there, man. I mean, he wants to try. Look at those bulk numbers. I mean, he's got Leech Seed on the side. You know, your Rambat set. He gets Dragon Dance and Calm Mind. Actually, I don't know if he gets Calm Mind in Caldea, but the moveset's not that bad, surprisingly. Yeah, I just picked this thing for the meme. I genuinely don't know if he's going to come at all this season, but he'll be keeping the bench nice and warm. I'm going to try to use him once, because he's my guy, bro. He's my guy. And then, summary. Yeah, so basically, you see all the teams now in full. All of the duplicate typings now at the bottom are due to my last two picks, 1-pointers. And so I could have, like I said, picked Charger Bug, but for the most part, I filled out every single type, and the weaknesses, being like Ice and Flying and Psychic, are all due to my 1-pointers. You know, Sneasel is quad weak to Psychic, Tropius quad weak to Ice, both are weak to Flying. Other than that, I think we've made some phenomenal speed tiers. Speed tiers are something that I've been a hater of. I think they're way overrated. That being said, it did take out some of my picks, and I don't mind it. It turned out great. Ideally, you want some more attackers, but I believe that taking out Tropius literally makes all of my stats better, except for like maybe defense HP, but those numbers don't change that much. So it's a little deceiving. But I wish I had better attackers. You know, my highest one is that Annihilate. Loves to be set up or loves to be bulky for Rage Fist. And then you got Meow, who is like alright, but doesn't want to be banned or Hone Claws every week. I just wish I had some more immediate power. Like, you got Sneasel, Talonflame, or Sword Stance. And stuff like Blood Moon, Raging Bolt, even Primarina, I guess, and Crown, can all hit on the physical side if they absolutely have to. And then you look at the right side of this image. You see my hazards are a little lackluster. You know, 2 Stealth Rocks, 2 Spikes are fine. 3 Toxic Spikes are fine. With Annihilate, I think you ideally want more. The good news is I have 2 Rapid Spinners and a Defogger, which means that I won't be defogging my hazards away. Or sorry, I don't have to if I don't want to. I wish I had some more Encore, Trick, Will-O-Wisp, Thunderwave mons, but it's fine. I didn't really fill out that box that much, but I don't think that's a huge deal. As you can see, we have 6 mons with Momentum plus Primarina with Flip Turn. That makes 7 out of 11. That's what I love to see. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Turn on that notification bell for more uploads, hopefully every single Monday. I can't make you a promise. But yeah, that's all for me. J-Slizzle out.